Hello. Now that you've configured the LT Auditor Plus Syslog Server, you'll be able to set up the rules. In this video tutorial, we will go over adding a device and creating an operation with position-based parsing. First, prior to adding a new device for creating rules, first get that device to send messages to the LT Auditor Plus Syslog Server. Viewing the target event log will confirm that messages are being received. Note, however, that if messages from multiple devices are being received, use the log messages with custom event IDs based on content. To log data based on the IP addresses of the new devices. Once this has been configured, clear the target event log and generate new syslog messages from the device. The target event log will now be populated with new messages from this new device, providing a dataset that can be used to create new rules. Now let's get to adding a new device. First, go into your Rules tab, and go into the Devices section and click Add. First is the name of the device. This is the model of device that will be sending syslog messages. We're going to be receiving syslog messages from a Cisco device, so we're going to call this Cisco. Next up is the device IP address. This is the IP addresses of all devices from the same model that will be sending messages to the LT Auditor Plus Syslog Server. Hence, multiple IP addresses can be entered separated by a comma. However, we're only going to be entering one right now, that being the local machine, so we're going to be entering an asterisk here. Next is the operation category. This field defines the category of all operations that will be created to enable parsing of messages from this device. This is absolutely required for reporting in LT Auditor Plus. The operation category will also be Cisco. The default event ID. Left unchecked, the default event ID for any events from this machine will be 1. However, if you check it and enter a number, that is the number that all events from this machine will be logged as, unless you specify an operation. So if we were to enter 57,000, then all events will be 57,000, but the ones we specify will increment off of that. So the first one we specify would be 57,001. Next, we have to get data. And as you can see, this is not the data we are receiving. This is in JSON, and we're using position-based parsing. So I'm going to quickly generate some dummy Cisco data. And when I go to get data, here's our Cisco data. For our position-based parsing, let us use this sys6 logout function. So I'm going to just double-click that after getting the data. First, we need to remove any excess data from the beginning. This 190-2018 is unnecessary, and since this is 11 characters that we need to cut off, our offset field will be entered as 11. Everything seems to be space separated, so we're going to be using space as our delimiter to separate our data. Now that we've done that, we can parse our message. We can enter our process name and where our message starts. Entering where our message starts is absolutely required, or else there may be some undefined behavior with position-based parsing. Date and time left unselectable will just default to the local date and time of the machine receiving syslog messages. Leaving hostname unselected will default to the IP address. Leaving process name unselected will simply be blank. But I want to have logout be our process. Our message starts with the word user, so we're going to drag and drop that. And now that we have our necessary data, we can select OK, and our Cisco device has been created, with its default settings, whether they've been enabled, their position, or key value, or JSON token, etc., being entered. Now that we have our device, we can select that device, go down to our operations, and click Add Operation. I suggest before you enter your operation name, you get your data to parse. We're going to be using our sys6 logout once again. And the operation name, for simplicity, we will just call logout. And the search to identify this operation will be this sys6 logout. This should be any unique string to an operation that you can identify it with. You can also add additional searches to add more specificity to your searches. Once again, we're going to make our delimiter space, as it's the most common way of separating data in this. And we can click Parse Message. Oh, I accidentally misclicked, so let me just get that in there and parse our message once again. For right now, we're only going to select our user and our node. It defaults to position-based parsing. But as you can see, we can drag in our user, jbaker. However, with our node, our IP address is not isolated. In order to do this, first we can add a pipe symbol and a new delimiter. Pipe symbols will separate delimiters so you can have multiple of them. And when we parse this message, that open parentheses has been removed, and this 4 has been separated from our IP address. But we still need to get rid of this closed parentheses. So we will drag and drop this position in here, and we will go to apply regular expression. This will allow us to eliminate this closed parentheses. If you need to find any useful regular expressions, please go to the bluelance.com Syslog Server product page and open up the Syslog Server manual and go to the last page for useful regex commands. We're going to be using a regex command that removes all non-alphanumeric characters aside from period, which is important for an IP address. We can save this, and when we select OK and select our device, we have our operation with its enabled fields, regex commands, positions, etc., etc. Now we need to make sure that this works with our event log. So let's just quickly clear our log to test this out, generate some more dummy data, go back into our event log, and refresh. As you can see, we have our default events, but also, right here, we have our logout event with our user and our separated IP address. Now we need to get this to work with LT Auditor Plus Management Console and LT Auditor Plus Reporting Console. So first, as a model of what these should look like, I'm going to quickly run a PowerShell script to add our syslog operation. And to add your operation, go to Options in an LT Auditor Plus Management Console, Syslog Rule, Master Settings, and Operation. As you can see right here, 57001, we have our logout function. This will be the model by which you want to enter your operations. Event ID, the description, which is the name of the operation that you gave it, and the operation category you gave it in Syslog Server. Now we have this added. We can close it, go to our Domain, Manager, Audit Subsystems, and Syslog Device Auditing. Here we need to add a filter statement. We'll call this Cisco. And we need to add the operations we want. We're going to add our new logout function, select OK, and we have our filter statement added. We can go into the LT Auditor Plus Reporting Console now. Go to LT Auditor Plus for Syslog Devices, Syslog Device Auditing, and we're going to create a new Cisco report category. So we're going to create a new report category, call that Cisco, create a new report query, call that logouts. We only want to include our logout function, so logout operation, so we're going to deselect all operations, go into Cisco, and include our created logout operation. Select OK. And now we have our logouts. In order to get a nicer report, we're going to go into Advanced Settings, Output, and go to SLA Linux Login Summary, and hit OK. Now we can generate a report from this. We need to generate some dummy data for this really quickly and allow that to roll up. So we do need to wait for a little bit. However, that is how you add your new devices and create operations for them using position-based parsing. Any more information on the other types of parsing, that being JSON token-based parsing and key-value pair-based parsing, you can find those on the bluelance.com Syslog Server product page. I can really quickly check up on the roll-up of our reporting. And we do have our new data, so we can generate our report. And here we have our logout. This is very easy to read. You can tell the date and time of it happening, user, the IP address, the operation that happened, and the host that it happened on. Thank you for watching the tutorial. You can find more information about LT Auditor Plus Syslog Server, LT Auditor Plus Management Console, and LT Auditor Plus Reporting Console on bluelance.com. Thank you.